I want a team that nobody's talking about or not enough people are talking about in the playoffs to go on a run.
That's always fun.
I want a team that some people could be talking about them, but not enough are. And obviously you take a look at the 5, 6, and 7 seeds for that usually. But there are some teams that are seeded 3 and 4 that aren't getting talked about quite a bit either. And I kind of want to hit on that for a brief bit before Chris Long joins us from the Green Light podcast. See where I'm going on that? My goodness, I do feel like I'm going up the river like Colonel Kurtz here. I know you need to see Apocalypse Now.
Great timely reference out of you, which
Excuse
is
me.
what I love and appreciate all the time.
Excuse me. Just because you were born in the 70s and have no interest in seeing anything that was ever created before it.
Definitely not born in the 70s. Thank you.
Okay, 80s. What team are we not talking about enough?
This is actually going to probably please you. I don't think we're talking enough about the Chargers. I know it's been, Jim plussed them up this and plussed them up that, but how many people are realistically giving them a chance to win the Super Bowl? In the AFC, it's all about the Chiefs and the Bills and the Ravens. This is a team that's played great defense all year. Justin Herbert has been completely unlocked with Jim Harbaugh. Amazing touchdown to interception ratio. We're not relying on him to win games. They have a stout run game. They just signed Ezekiel Elliott to the practice squad.
They did. I saw that.
We're going to see him on the goal line in the playoffs.
Dude.
And they get the Texans first up, a team that everyone is completely writing off and just assuming that the Chargers are going to win this game. We are going to see Jim Harbaugh on divisional weekend being one win away from going to the AFC Championship game. We're not talking enough about the Chargers. We don't love their wide receivers. None of them are sexy. It's a second-round pick. It's Josh Palmer. It's all these also-rans. They're a really fun, smash-mouth team, and they're going to win a game this weekend, and we're going to see them on the precipice of the AFC title game.
Stone Smart with 2 T's. By the way, how wild would it be if Jim Harbaugh returns to the National Football League and wins his first playoff game with Ezekiel Elliott and J.K. Dobbins scoring touchdowns to make Joey Bosa happy? Talk about strange bedfellows to beat C.J. Stroud.
Right.
It's
going to happen.
Hassan Haskins hitting his head on the goalpost of November pasts because Zeke made Jim's life. I don't think, was Zeke there when Jim was there? Or was Zeke making Brady Hoke's life miserable? I forget. He was making my life miserable.
He had to be with the Niners when Zeke was
and
there.
J.K. Dobbins. It's just amazing, strange bedfellows. Which team are we not talking about for you?
All right,
playoff team.
You want to hear something?
Sure.
I'll give you something.
I'm asking. Candles lit.
If Jalen Hurts does not recover from this concussion, the Green Bay Packers are going to end the Philadelphia Eagles season.
He's still in protocol.
I think that is just, I don't know.
We're 10 days removed.
When we're talking about head injuries, I understand it, but I just think that's...
You think with Kenny Pickett back there, they're going to...
No, I think Jalen Hurts can play football.
I know, that's what was an if. I gave you an if, but...
That's what I believe. Believe Jalen Hurts can play football. How about this, though, for the Green Bay Packers is they, not Detroit, may be the NFC North team that has too many injuries to overcome. In the very end, with Christian Watson out and Jair Alexander out, and who knows what the hell is going on with the elbow of Jordan Love. How about that? That at the end of the day, the NFC North team that has too many key players out due to injury to overcome might wind up being the Packers.
I wasn't thinking about Jordan Love's elbow when I...
But they can absolutely go into Philadelphia, by the way, and beat Jalen Hurts.
Sure.
I've got my team that nobody's talking about enough. It's the Rams. It's the Rams.
That's not surprising. You've been on the Rams.
Well, I pegged the Rams to win the division when it was a 3-team toss-up, if not maybe 4, if you thought the Niners could put something together.
They've just been too Jekyll and Hyde for me this year.
Well, the Jekyll and Hyde has been the way that they finished up, but they were in most wins that it's unbelievable. You know, they beat New Orleans, and then they beat the Bills to win their second game in a row in a 44-42 game reminiscent of their win back in the Coliseum on a Monday night against the Chiefs when Jared Goff was the one doing it. They win 44-42, and then they win their next 3 games after Stafford lights up the Bills. They win their next 3 games. Stafford had never won back-to-back games in his career when throwing less than 200 yards, and then he did it 3 games in a row.
Yeah. So
the defense showed up. And then you just have to toss that last one out the window. Jimmy G quarterbacking and on all of their top, offensive players, with all due respect to those who played, sitting. But the Rams have already beaten the Vikings.
Yep.
And their next game could potentially be going to Detroit, which they did in back-to-back games, the wild card and then the season opener. And both of them were really tight affairs. No one's talking about the Rams enough. They're talking more about the Bucs because of the way things finished up for them in that final game, even though that was more of a struggle than what the Rams did over the final few weeks. But Jekyll and Hyde, they were 1-4, and then they got healthy. The playoff team we're not talking about enough that can go on a run.
That's a very good one.
Okay.
That's a very good one.
All right, Chris.
As I go down the list, I think, the Packers have not earned the right to have that title. They haven't won any of their big games. They're kind of limping into the playoffs. I think the Commanders, the way they can get hot, can certainly ruin a team's day. Like, Philly, they could certainly say if Jalen Hurts is on the field and match up to win that game. But at the same time, Jayden Daniels, and a lot of it was the Eagles' mistakes, kind of torched them. So that's a dangerous team. I think the Bucs are really dangerous offensively, but the defense has kind of tapered off as the year's gone on due to some injuries. I think the Rams are always dangerous, right? And when I talk about matchups, a lot of it is matchups. Like the Rams don't want to play the Eagles. But other than that, I think they'll go toe-to-toe with anybody in the NFC. So I think the Rams are one of those scary kind of teams. And then the AFC, I think the Chargers, as much as I wanted to handicap them due to the lack of weapons on offense and that sort of thing, you can see Quentin Johnson pop up and have a really good game here and there. Like if that guy goes off in a playoff game, if they can get something out of, a second receiver other than Lab McConkey, they can muddy something up for like a Kansas City. I don't know if they can beat Kansas City. They're going to be a fun team to watch in the playoffs, as well as, it really could be any of them. We've seen that in the past where a team will go on a run and get into the dance, and it's just about like when you play that team, not the team that you're playing, but when you play that team. So teams will get hot and get in the playoffs and surprise some people. So, just going down the list, outlining some of those teams, I think there's a couple that you could argue could make a run to the Super Bowl that are not division winners.
So you say the Rams don't want to see the Eagles because Saquon's still running all over them, or they would have to go?
That front. The size of that front. Like I think the Rams' defensive front's a lot of fun. They're young. They're productive. I love Jared Verse. Fisk, I thought, probably could have gone to the Pro Bowl the way he played this year. And, Young, Turner. The Rams, they're just a little light up front to face up with a Philly front like that. We already saw what that looks like in LA. I'm not saying it would happen the exact same way, but as that game went on, they kind of got worn down. I think LA is probably the answer to your question, but I'm just kind of illustrating the fact that like there is a team that they'd probably not want to see, and it goes the same for pretty much anybody. And I think honestly, if you're talking about a team to beat, like who's the best team playing the best at the end of the season, it's the Ravens, in my opinion. I think the Chiefs made a jump at the end of the season when they got some of their guys back offensively and they opened up the offense a little bit, moved Joe Tooney to left tackle. That's a big deal. But I think the Ravens, pending Zay Flowers' injury, to answer the question a different way, are playing the best.
Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10.
Let's go now. Tiger, 19 Tiger.
First carry of the game for Brian Robinson. He'll get this to about the 38.
Give credit to the defense for stringing that play out, and they gave up no cutback angle. You know he was trying to dart through. No place for him to go. A nice job there, only giving up a 3-yard gain.
Well, they'll come up 2nd and 7. Now Daniels. Oh, hit as he throws there, incomplete.
I think we'll see more of them trying to get him the football out of the backfield. They love what he can do in open space, and they believe that he creates mismatches they can exploit.
A tough spot here on their opening drive. This is 3rd and 7. Here's Daniels. He had a man open, but he missed him, and it's incomplete.
That was their first 3rd down try of the game, and clearly something was off in the execution of that play. Good news, they've got a whole game left to clean that up and start clicking on those key 3rd down throws.
So still a scoreless game in the first, but they're going to go for this thing on their own side of the field on 4th down. Daniels going to throw for it. That is caught, and he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. A curious decision to go for it, but it pays off with a 1st down. They'll run for the first time with Austin Eckler. And he's fortunate to get anything from that. Give him a yard up to the 49.
Yeah, things were pretty stacked up there in the middle of the line. A lot of bodies, not much space. I think ultimately he was fortunate to get anything out of that run.
Now 2nd and 9. Play action, now it's Daniels. Sliding out of the pocket. Slings this deep from McLaurin. And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete.
You get a sense of what this game plan might be. They think they can take a few home run shots against this defense. They tried it there on the opening drive, but that falls incomplete.
Now play number 7 of this drive, but it's a tough 3rd and 9. Daniels looking to throw. That's complete. Terry McLaurin with it. And this won't be enough. A good secure tackle, and they stop him a few yards shy at the 46. And now the Raven defense going to call a timeout. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this first quarter. And they're going to at least line up to go for it here on 4th down. To throw is Daniels. He's got his target. That's complete. And he'll be taken down, but he does have 1st down yardage. They're able to keep the drive alive, 7 yards that time, and the decision to go for it proves to be a good one. Throwing now is Daniels. Flushed out right. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
Well, anytime he reads man coverage, I don't think it's going to be the only time he'll try and hit that route to the outside in this game. He'll test the perimeter, but that time they were up to the challenge.
Here's 2nd and 10.
Eagle, 60 Eagle. Bravo 80.
To the air goes Daniels. There's a short one pulled in by Simmett. And he's going to get this inside the 30. The Washington passing game dialed in now. It's a first down.
He's certainly done a nice job spreading the field on this drive, and here he finds his big tight end for good yardage. And that's what you have to do. Keep defenses guessing about where you're going to go with the football.
They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. Firing quickly, but it's incomplete.
Offense was moving it a little bit, had them back on their heels, but they earned a brief pause by forcing the incompletion. That gives them a quick chance to regroup and try and mount a stand before they're backed up even further.
2nd and 10.
Here we go. Set.
Out of the gun, Eckler running it. And he'll be a couple yards shy of the red zone here at the 22-yard line. The 13th play now coming on this opening drive. Here's 3rd down.
Brings up 3rd and 5.
No score after 1 on EA Sports. Second quarter now from our nation's capital, and it's Washington in possession of the football as they've got it with a 3rd down coming up.
Ready, set.
They'll need 5 on this play to move the sticks.
Let's go now. Ready.
Daniels from the gun on 3rd down. Able to find the open man. That's complete. And they've got it inside the 10 at the 8. The Ravens going to use the 2nd of their timeouts. So as they talk it over, we step aside. Now Daniels going to give it up on the touch pass. He's into the secondary, and he is into the end zone for a Commanders touchdown. Terry McLaurin from 8 yards out, and the Commanders post the first points of the ball game as they take the lead here in this 2nd quarter. Gonzalez good on the extra point, and